Hello, everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast as part of a Peritubular scope series, an audio podcast as part of a Spectre compass, an audio podcast as part of a Brigadier orbit, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production. So a little bit into the base into sort of the specifics or the particular aspects around coping research or around coping research sort of before getting into sort of into the aspects around the before getting into sort of the literature review aspects. So, from a psychological viewpoint, coping is a route that develops in Milo of challenging or taxing sort of taxing conditions on an individual sort of on an individual sort of sort of internal and sort of external sort of mechanisms. Coping has also been defined as the behavioral efforts individuals use to manage or alter sort of stressful life challenges. Challenges are referred to as problem-focused coping approaches, which comprise problem resolving, material collecting, and a sort of achievement setting. So, for example, following a form of treatment, treatment or following a form of treatment, for example, coping originates in response to an appraisal that that central aims are challenged, threatened or gone. These evaluations are categorized by undesirable reactions, and coping can perhaps be surmised as the following. So, number one, coping can be intricate, but it is implemented using basic strategies. Coping viscotides, and in unity with Holding viscotides and in unity or unison with challenges. If a particular task can be challenged, then a problem focused coping predominates. Number three, coping methods or modalities range from a single from range from a single basis to where from a basis of stressful encounters to another. And number four, coping can act as an influential mediator of emotive consequences. Optimistic endings are connected with some coping approaches. Negative results with others. So this works. The peer reviewed works as part of this audio podcast is as part is a sort of a narrative of the coping concept and why it is important but misunderstood. It's a misunderstood concept within in around chronic in around chronic and sort of in around well-being when well-being sort of specialties. And the works also aims to place perspective on coping to identify whether it is actually the foundation behind well-being by investigating different theories and models. And this work aims to review evidence and non-evidence based works, scrutinizing articles or works relating to well-being, health and disease, psychology, endocrine and immune systems. Papers, works or literature were cross-examined or have been cross-examined utilizing the critical appraisal skills program or CASP, and analyzing in lieu of a coping description was sort of the substantial aspect around a substantial aspect of the process of this works. That draws this audio podcast to a close. An audio podcast as part of a Peritubular scope series, an audio podcast as part of a Spectre compass, an all audio podcast as part of a Brigadier orbit, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production.